Hey everyone, this is Jayden from the Prestige Banquet Hall. Thank you so much for coming back to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about some of the most important tips and tricks that they don't really tell you too much about when you're planning your very own wedding. So if that sounds like something you'd like to watch, keep on watching. Alrighty everyone, so there are so many different tips and tricks that they do not tell you about when you are planning your wedding. There are so many little secrets that a lot of people like to keep to themselves because, to be honest, when you're watching a lot of these videos, they want to give you the most glamorized and amazing version of their event as possible, which we all do love, but it's also good to keep those tips and tricks in mind and things that might necessarily not be as glamorous for your wedding. So tip number one, in my opinion, is one of the most important, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, you have to eat. Eating during your event is one of the number one least prioritized moments of the wedding. A lot of times you are mingling from the minute you walk in the door to the minute you leave the door. You are the main event, and a lot of times eating kind of gets pushed to the back burner. Here at the Prestige Banquet Hall, we make sure that your head table is served, so we will bring the food out to you, and then if there is anything extra, sometimes I like to make little plates in the back. If I know that I haven't seen the bride and the groom eat, we keep our eyes on you because we are just want to make sure that the food that you pay for is also the food that you consume on the day of the event. So always make sure that even if it's just for a few minutes, even if you have to sneak back into the kitchen, make sure that you are eating so you can keep up with the energy, but also that you're getting the most out of what you paid for instead of just mingling the whole night and giving it to your guests. Alrighty guys, tip number two. This is one that we've been seeing in these past few years, especially after COVID, and I love the emergence of it. I think it's such a really great concept and it really brings the family and friends closer together, but it can create a few issues. So my number two recommendation that I also view as very important is just make sure that your vendors are the people that you know are going to provide the best service for you on the day of your event. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is we all have a really great uncle who can mix it up on the soundboard. We've got our favorite cousin who is a beast at photography. However, we want to make sure that all of those services that they are providing are what we are looking for our wedding. If you want to give your family and friends an opportunity to come on out for your baby shower, your bridal party, your engagement party, all those other events that are super duper important, and give them those test runs, that would be a really great idea. I know that all of us have heard of all of the horror stories on TikTok, on Reddit, on all of those social media platforms about brides who say had a completely unplugged reception and ceremony and then got their photos back and didn't love them, and now they have absolutely no photos of their special moments. So I always say, always have a backup just in case. Make sure that, first of all, make sure that those vendors are providing that accurate service. Then always make sure you have a backup, somebody who's great with a camera phone or someone that knows has an amazing playlist that can play for you. Always make sure you have that backup. Ladies, this next tip is going to be specifically for you because I think this one, in my 5 years, I have seen it the most, and it is actually something that I personally keep on hand for our beautiful brides just in case, and that is bring an extra pair of shoes. I love those heels. I love the crazy tall ones, the ones with the crystals all over them. I love heels. But after 6 hours in heels, it's kind of a nightmare. So I always say, please bring a change of shoes. All of our head tables here, we make sure that it is going all the way to the ground so that your shoes are not visible. So you can take them off, you can put on your Crocs, you can put on your Hey Dudes, you can put on those comfy shoes so that your feet aren't in so much pain. We want to make sure that you're on the dance floor dancing. We want to make sure that when you're going and mingling with your guests that you are feeling good and not in a bunch of pain from wearing those heels all day. So I personally keep 2 extra pairs of shoes here just in case. You never know when a bride is going to need a pair of shoes. So I always recommend just throw them in your car a month early just so they're there, and then just forget about them until the day of the wedding, and then you have them. Good tip. This next tip, guys, I will say it's a big one. I have mentioned previously, I've been here for 5 years. This one is probably the one I've seen the most of. It happens a lot. And that is, remember your IDs, people. What are we doing? I cannot serve you absolutely any alcohol unless you have your ID, even if I know you're over 21. And when we wear big poofy dresses and our nicely ironed slacks, we don't want to put a bunch of IDs and wallets in there and ruin the look. So have your designated person who's gonna keep watch over your IDs and those special forms of documentation, heck, even a pack of gum, just those little special things that you're going to forget about. Always make sure you have somebody who is carrying that for you, because I have had so many brides and grooms show up without their ID, and unfortunately they're not able to purchase any alcoholic beverages on that day. So please remember your ID, stick it in your shoe, put it in your bra, throw it in a friend's purse, make sure that you have that ID. Alrighty guys, tip number 5 is it's a new one. It started reemerging these past few years, and I think it's a really great one because it's probably, besides of course, you know, the eating and the shoes, one that I've seen a good amount of, and that is nobody really cares too much about those party favors. I think they're great. I have a whole collection of them in my house, but it is the number one thing that unfortunately we do throw away at the end of every event. We throw away a ton of party favors. I have a bride, and I think it's a brilliant idea. She is taking the money from her budget that she was planning on using for party favors, and in turn she is donating that to a charity of her choice. I think that is a beautiful idea, or just like different ways you can take that money and reorient it in your budget, because truth be told, a lot of times either those favors are going home with me or they're going to the garbage. So unless you love giving me a bunch of gifts, which I so appreciate, then keep buying favors. But other than that, I would just save the money and have that late night snack, have those extra desserts, spend that little extra money on, say, a veil, but I would save that money and reorient it towards a different direction of your event, and that's just the trend that we've seen the most of. I think one that a lot of people don't really think about as much as some of the other ones. I feel like some of the other ones, they are becoming a little bit more well known, but I think that this one, it's pretty vital, and that is make sure that you have transportation to and from, however you have it, make sure that you have that transportation. A lot of times people will say, oh, I'll just grab an Uber, or afterwards we'll just, you know, car ride with Jack and Jill all the way back to the hotel. Just make sure that those things are set in stone. Make sure you either pre-order an Uber, make sure that you have confirmed and made sure that you are going to be in Jack and Jill's car, because oh my gosh, the amount of times that miscommunication has happened, halfway through to being so busy, the other half being inebriation, but the amount of times that miscommunication happens and then bride and grooms are just left stranded waiting for someone to come and take them home. Make sure that you just have that ride home. It's just gonna make your life so much easier. When you're ready to go, you can go, and you're not having to stand around and wait. You can just head on out, and yeah. Okay guys, this next tip is as much for us as it is for you. It really does make both of our lives very easy, and that's what we're trying to do here, right? I'm trying to make your life easy, you're trying to make my life easy. So this next tip I would recommend is have a seating chart. I know so many people have said, oh, that's not the kind of event I'm looking to do. I want it to be a little less formal, and I just want people to come and sit where they be, and there's no fighting between my family, and everybody here loves each other, and that's a beautiful delusion, but it's just not true. Somebody always doesn't like somebody, and somebody's aunt's mad at somebody's cousin, is mad at somebody's uncle, and the amount of times that due to not having a seating chart, people will request additional tables, which at that point we do have to charge for. And they have empty seats, people just do not wish to sit with other people. So I always say spend that extra day or two and just carve out that seating chart. Have this table of this people, this table of this people, and also too, sometimes a lot of your elderly guests or guests that have a harder time hearing or seeing end up in the back, and that is also more difficult because the guests that you care about and you love are unable to see all those special moments that you invited them there for. So that seating chart is super important when making sure that all of your guests have a great experience, but also making sure that you are not causing yourself or your venue any undue stress by now having to figure out these seating arrangements due to the difficulty of people finding seats and not wanting to sit in certain places. So I always recommend a seating chart. We have a really awesome program here at the Prestige Banquet Hall that helps you make that seating chart, so we can always help you with that way, send that on over to you. But it is such a key tip and will make your day so much more smooth. Tip number 8, and I cannot stress this one enough because I know that you're gonna regret it. I just know you are. So I will let you know now so that you can write it in your little beautiful little bride book and not forget it. And that is, make sure you have someone there on the day of to call you out on your stuff. You gotta have that person. You gotta have the person who's gonna make sure that you have no hair ties on your wrist. She's gonna make sure that your Apple Watch is off the day before so that it doesn't leave any imprints on your skin for your photos. She's gonna make sure that your lipstick looks good. She's gonna make sure that your train looks amazing. She or he will make sure that those little things are running smoothly. I always do recommend a day of coordinator. You don't want to be your own day of coordinator because you're so busy being the bride. That is a full-time job. I know it sounds pretty easy, but it is. It is a huge part of the experience is being the bride. So that is a job in itself. So having someone there to make sure that everything is running smoothly, who will communicate between your vendors, who will make sure that that stress ends before it ever ends up on your doorstep is very, very important. We are here to help. We want to make sure that your event is beautiful and amazing. And we want to make sure that you are not stressed during it. So those little things that might be harder for the bride to remember because she's got a million things to remember, I would either hire a wonderful day of coordinator or have a great friend be there to make sure that everything is running smoothly. And all those little details like, of course, hair ties, making sure all those things are all ordered for photos, are all ready for the DJ. All those good things are taken care of so that the bride or the groom has no stress at all. Tip number 9, and this one is so important just on your regular daily life, but just for your wedding, I recommend the week of your wedding, like that whole from the 7 days prior to your event going on, drink water. Drink it, drink it, drink it, drink it, drink it. One, it's gonna be great for your energy, which you're gonna need a lot of with this planning. You'll get better sleep, you'll feel better, but also you don't wanna start chugging water on the day of your wedding. One, you'll have to pee a ton, and when are you gonna have the time to do that? You're in this big dress or you're in this big suit that now you gotta take all off. Get your hydration going the week before. Make sure you're taking those liquid IVs. You're getting all that hydration in you so that by the time you get to your day of, you're hydrated, you're ready to go, and you can still drink water. Of course, please keep drinking water, but you're not, chugging water to make sure that you don't, pass out on the day of your wedding. Start that hydration process early. It is vital. Also, too, not only is it vital that way, but also for my drinkers, the partiers on the day of, it's gonna help with that hangover. And for all you honeymooners, that's what you're gonna want. You wanna party, but with less consequences. So start that hydration early. Just get it started. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to take us all the way down until our 10th tip. This one is our most vital, and it is the one that I stand by today, I stand by yesterday, and I stand by tomorrow. It is so absolutely important, and I cannot stress it enough, and that is have fun. Have a good time. I know that all of those things that we just talked about are pretty stressful. It's a big list. It's 9 things that now you have to remember. But the main goal is having a good time. This is your day, you and your special person's day, for you guys to get married and to enjoy each other. So remember to go out there and dance like nobody's watching, to pretend that nobody's watching you during the ceremony and that it's just you and that person that you love. Or if you love the attention, that the attention's all on you and it's all about you, because it is. It is your special day, and we want to see you out there doing the cha-cha slide and drinking all of those amazing mixed drinks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe down below. If you guys have any ideas for some videos that you'd like to see, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. I love reading comments, so just put them down there and I will make sure that I take a peek at those. Thank you guys so much again, and we will see you soon. Bye guys.